Okay, my fellow YouTuber, let's talk delts. So how do you build round delts, right? And the answer is probably not by pressing. What? When people see the delt, which has 7 heads, right? You think of like overhead press and this, that, the other, and I say, the issue is, as always, is like, what are you trying to do? And what you're trying to do is you try to shorten the muscle, right? And for that, let's say a freestanding military press is not that great because you're going to use your triceps and all kinds of other muscles. When it comes to training the delt, I'm greatly oversimplifying. But in order of importance, you should be doing rear delt work, because that's often underworked, medial, and then a press when you're done, right? So in terms of volume, there isn't really that much because it's a very small muscle in the grand scheme of things. It's versatile, but you know, when you lift, you can't even see the shortening per se, right? So now the question is like, do you really need all these exercises? And the answer is no. What you need to do is you need to find the one exercise that you can do really well that then gives you that shortening of the muscle. Because the better you are at making yourself uncomfortable, the more you will grow, right? So for instance, flapping wing side raises is not going to do anything. Or like the heave-ho overhead press is also not going to cut it, right? So now it's like, what do I need to do to run with that? So the first thing I would suggest to pretty much anybody, like, you know, this being the 21st century in America, I would say start by pulling your shoulders back. So you come here, and the first thing I would do is reverse shrugs, where all you do is pull the shoulder blades down. So now my delts are not elevated anymore, and I'm actually in a position where I can work. So then I would do a rear delt. Now, the rear delt is often done with dumbbells, and that's a bad exercise for the most part. It really is. The reason being, when I use dumbbells, I have no resistance here, where I'm actually strong, and all the resistance is up here, where I'm weak, right? So, I mean, I can get some stuff out of it, but again, the idea is not you should do something because the gym says so, or you should always pick things apart and think like, so what do I need to do to work this muscle effectively, right? And then the conclusion is I must find something where I lock myself in and I can only use my rear delts. So for that, I set up this bench, and now I go down here, make sure I don't kill the cable, and all I do is I come from here, so now where I'm relatively strong, I have the most resistance, and it gets a bit easier as I get weaker, right? And because my body is locked in, shoulder blades down and back, I actually get something out of it. And realistically, you're not gonna have more than 3 or 4 sets where you're really effectively shortening the rear delt. That's all you're gonna have, okay? Then we move on. So, time to kill another holy cow. Side raises with dumbbells are not a great exercise. They're just not. And why? Because down here, there's no resistance, where I'm the strongest. And up here is a lot. So what happens is most people actually don't go all the way up, right? Because they can't. So it's kind of like they stop about here. And the cable, again, enables you to get a much, much better profile, because I can stand like this, a slight lean forward, and now I have resistance down here where I'm the strongest, and not mingling the cable, coming all the way up. I have tension here, and the tension remains as I get weaker, and I can actually focusing on shortening the muscle. Come to think of it, I should have done this seated, you know, where I really lock it in. Then the last exercise would be a press. So for that, I really prefer machine press, where I lock myself in a position where I can't do anything but this, right? So grab about here, my wrist is over my elbow, and then I go up, but I don't go till here. The moment I lock out, my elbow rotates internally and all the stress is going onto my tricep and my joint. Whereas if I'm here, you can see my delts are working. So I put the shoulder blades in, and I just work from here. And I could do a drop set or so, depending how I feel. But the point is, you should always pick your exercises by, do they fit me? Which muscle do I want to shorten? And does it make sense biomechanically? As opposed, oh, the gym has this machine, that's what I should do. Because the answer is probably not, right? So as per volume, I would say maybe 10 sets total, twice a week. Your delts will grow, man. Maik out.